Hi, I'm Glenn May with BassResource.com, and I'm here with Steve Kennedy. Steve, it is great to have you here today.
Glad to be here.
Steve, how far in advance do you start planning and prepping for a tournament?
As many tournaments as I've been fishing lately, I typically just go week to week. I want to have maps together and all that good stuff. But most of the lakes we've been to, I have a pretty good idea what we're going to be doing. So I don't look at them much till the week that I get there. But, for this tournament in particular, it's such a big area. You got to have so much help. I talked to one guy, before I came down here, but yeah, I've been looking at maps for months and get on stuff like Google Earth, that kind of stuff, to see what's going on. But so yeah, I probably put months into this one just because it's the first tournament of the year and the biggest event of the year. But
And what kind of things are you looking for?
Something different, something You kind of have an idea what the fish are going to be doing this time of year. You hear dead end canals a lot, so you're looking for that kind of stuff. You're looking for clear water, places isolated from the flow of the river, or but you're always looking for something different that not everybody else is seeing and that type of stuff. And
when you go to a brand new body of water, and let's say you haven't done any prepping work or anything like that, what would be like the first thing you would do? Do you spend a lot of time cruising around looking at your sonar and GPS, or do you just pick a spot that looks good and start fishing it, or how would you start taking apart a lake?
I ride around a lot more than the other guys. It depends on the year, depends on type of lake. There's a lot of information that you process before you even go out on the water, but I typically try to cover a lot of water, looking for something something specific that I can pattern the fish on. So whether it's points or coves so I'll hit and miss different stuff until I get a bite and then try to repeat it. But you're looking for something, a pattern that you can repeat. That's what I'm always looking for. And that's, fishing for points, that's what you're looking for. To actually win, you need a spot typically, or an area that's bigger than the average fish, which that's what you need here at the Classic to win. But yeah, you're still looking for just a pattern where you can just go from spot to spot to spot and pull up, make one flip and catch a fish. That's what I'm looking for. And when I do well, that's usually what I'm on. I'm not just blind casting out in the middle of somewhere. So.
What would you consider to be your fishing strengths?
Trying to be versatile. I can't say that I have one. I grew up fishing deep with Dad, dragging a Carolina rig, throwing a big crankbait. And, since I've been pro, I've worked more at the shallow stuff. So I'm pretty good at all of it, I think. I try to be. There's always somebody better than you at something. But okay. For making the Classic and getting good points, you got to be versatile. You have to be.
So if you were to talk to a young angler who's making his way up the ranks and wants to reach to the pro level, what would be your single most important piece of advice that you would give him?
Edit this out. Don't do it. That's my opinion. The last couple of years have been really hard on a lot of guys, and anyway, you might want to edit this out. But anyway, I won't say it. But it's fun, but it's a hard way to make a living right now. Get an education, have a backup plan. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
Well, what would be? Let's say, could you give us like the Weekend Angler an honest opinion of kind of what it's really like to be at the elite level series? Or, excuse me, at the elite level that you're at. Kind of like what's it really like? Because a lot of people think that it's really glamorous and you get a lot of money thrown your way and sponsors are just vying for you all the time. It's like what's it really like?
I'm an engineer in a marketing world, and it's hard for me. It's real hard for me. But it's fun. I mean, we travel in a big RV. My family travels with me. We have a blast, and we've made a good living over the years, really. But like I said, the last couple of years have been really hard. But yeah, a lot of the guys get up early in the morning. Get up at 4 and go and work hard at it. I usually don't get on the water till 8:30, 9 o'clock. I play with the kids in the morning, and we enjoy it. We go out, if we want to go out and sleep in when I want to sleep in, and
living the dream, man.
I'm trying to enjoy it. We've had a blast, but
that's awesome. That's awesome.
You can put as much work into it as you want to. Really, that's the way I look at it. And some of the guys work a lot harder than I do, and
Well, it seems to be working out really well for you.
I've done really well with it, and I'm comfortable with what I've been doing, and
What I'd like to do right now is what I call a shameless plug moment. You can talk about your sponsors, or maybe give a shout out to your friends or family that's out there. What's on your mind, what you like to talk about.
I don't know how much of a plug it is, but that Konami Flash, which is a soft plastic stick bait, the same thing as a Cinco. But if you don't have one tied on every time you go fishing, you're doing something wrong. That's one of those things that I always have tied on, no matter where I go, what I do. It's a great target bait for skipping under a dock or throwing at a stump or a hole in the grass and just letting it fall and wiggle on its own, and it produces all the action. It doesn't look like much, but it's one of those things you have to have. So.
Awesome. We'll have to give that a go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Kennedy, I'm Glenn May with BassResource.com.